Good morning all, and coming on my PJs, in my PJs this morning, because I think I'm coming down with the cold that's been going around my house. So, you know, this path, although you might get pearly, and I'm getting something in my eye also. I feel like, I don't know, maybe cold in my eyes. But if my eye looks a bit today, that's because it is. But yeah, you know, this path never sleeps, the twin flame path. If you're on that, you'll understand. It's constant, you know. So although I'm not feeling 100%, I still have messages to get out and work to do. That's this path, you know. There's dark and light on it. At the earlier times, there was more of, yeah, I'd say disruptive energies and lower negative energies, because, you know, the early stages of this path, you're trying to figure it out. You're finding your way. You're just starting out on that, you know, that journey. And this is part 4 of the Wizard of Oz, the Yellow Brick Road journey. So you're just starting out on this journey that, you know, it's very, very unknown where you're going to go. You're just starting out on it. And yeah, you know, other, like, twin flames, we are you know, high vibration light, you know, but we've got to go through this journey ourselves to discover that, and figure it out. And 7 years ago, when it first happened to me, maybe more now, I lose track, it was all behind the moon for me, you know. It was just not known. This journey to me was just not known. So yeah, I had to take, you know, when that, I'm going to start from the beginning also, and I'm going to word things, you know, correct, like, because I don't want to instill fear in anybody who's just starting out on this path. That's not my intention at all. I'm all about the light, but I do have to talk about the dark sides of this journey, because I wouldn't be truthful, I wouldn't be authentic, you know. And why I've gone through this journey is to help others on their journey, whether it's spiritual awakening or twin flame, you know, because to talk and understand the journey, you have to take that yellow brick road yourself. And I wouldn't be truthful or authentic and be doing what I'm meant to be doing if I didn't talk about the dark and the light of this journey, and the experiences that I've experienced. You know, I can't speak about other twin flames, but I've heard many twin flames speak of lower energies trying to detour us off our path, and that's just the truth of this journey. I've experienced it. I won't say I've experienced it if I haven't, you know. So yeah, the wording may, you know, not have come out right, but when I'm channeling, that's the words that come through, you know. So but no, the tower, you know, that Kansas, Dorothy's tornado hit Kansas, and, you know, before that she was in the unawakened state, just like I was. So I wasn't awake at that point when my tower hit. I was not long after, and, you know, excuse me, definitely getting the cold. So not long after that tornado hit, sent me to the Oz, you know, yeah, sent me on this long journey to the Wizard of Oz and the Emerald City. Yeah, this fool's journey. I took that fool's journey. Had no choice. Why? Because the call was calling me. You know, that tornado hit Dorothy's house because she had to take this fool's journey also to wake up, you know, to the call that had been coming through. You know, the call comes when it's meant to. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It does not matter. If you are meant to wake up and hear this call, you're going to hear it. There's going to be, you know, that tower coming in. And yeah, this journey, it's so unknown. At the very beginning stages, you're figuring it out. There's a lot going on at the early stages of the twin flame journey, spiritual awakening. Yeah, that's you know, that's part of our journey, but mine is the twin flame journey. That's what I can speak of, but it is also a spiritual awakening, you know. So yeah, it's the birth, but twin flame, it's a different journey to purely just a spiritual awakening, you know, because you're connected to another, your one soul, you know, split into two bodies, yeah, to find each other again, and to find union in yourself, and then union in this connection, you know, after you take this yellow brick road. So it's a road of transformation. And there's, you know, those bricks are building blocks back to ourselves. You know, we're finding ourselves on this yellow brick road, piece by piece. Those yellow bricks, you know, they'll start fitting in. And that's where the transformation comes in. And yeah, you know, Dorothy was with Toto. I won't leave Toto out again. I don't know why I did, but yeah. Dorothy was purely alone, you know. She didn't have another person at her side. She had a four-legged friend, Toto, which is lovely in itself, and they're, you know, our best companions, aren't they? There's just unconditional love. They're not lowered down by lower energy, you know. I love being around animals, love animals. They just give that love out to us, don't they? It's unconditional. They don't have that lower density that we can sometimes have, you know, on this 3D plane of ours. They don't hold that. They're pure, you know, they are, they're loving. So, Hermit, yeah, very much alone. Dorothy had to take part of this journey alone, because she had to find the strength, and she had to find, you know, courage and all of that, you know, to carry on this yellow brick road. But, you know, she wasn't alone for long. And, you know, parts of my journey, yes, I was alone. Very, very much alone. And that solitude and spirit took me away from people, you know, as protection now, I understand. And also in that solitude and that stillness, that's where you heal, you truly transform, you know. The most painful part of my journey was the dark night of the soul. The Kundalini rising was before the dark night of the soul. That was the clearing and the purging and the cleansing of, you know, my chakra system. And as I know now, the angels work through my chakra system. So that, you know, would have been stepping stones for my transformation, you know, so the angels can channel through me. There was working through me all along, but I just had static. I've not done that much transformation back then that I needed to. But as I know now, that the angels work through my chakras, you know, that's how they channel through me. It's what they've said. So that was the Kundalini rising. I was meant to have that. Very, very destabilising, very disorientating, very painful. My body ached head to toe. I had like ascension flu symptoms, headaches, dizziness, electric shocks going off in my body, feeling energy, feeling others' energy, cold sweats, and hot sweats and body temperature fluctuations. Anxiety, I had a lot of anxiety because my nervous system was trying to stabilise at that point, and I was wondering what's going on here, you know. I'm still in that fight and flight mode, you know. Just figuring it all out. It was still behind the moon at this point, but many more symptoms on the Kundalini rising. I wanted to create everything. I would create. I'm a Leo anyway, and I'm very creative. Being creative from childhood, I just love creating. I think it's a self-expression, and it's healing, you know. I'm a person where if I feel ill and you know, I don't take medication because that's my choice. I have done in my lifetime, but you know, over about 20 years now I haven't, because my soul knew that for me to heal, for me personally, can't speak for others, you know, everybody needs what they need, and if you need medication, you need that. But my journey, it's took me on a different path, you know. It's so when I want to heal, I'll go to a crystal. You know, I've got a headache, I'll put amethyst on my head. I need a bit of love and self-compassion. I'll get a rose quartz out. I need a bit of strength. I'll go for tiger's eye. You know, there is times where I'll think, oh, I need a few paracetamol because I've got, you know, I can't really shake this. But very few and far between now. But years ago, yes, I did used to. But my past took me on a different route. But everybody's different. I'm not a doctor, and you can't diagnose anybody, you know. All I can speak of is my path and what I, you know, I do for myself. And yeah, that's my path. That's the route it's took me. The Sheldrick Road has took me on self-healing and finding more natural ways to self-heal. You know, becoming a Reiki practitioner, angelic Reiki, light language, very healing modalities, very powerful, you know. This journey opened all those gifts up in me, you know, that knowing of those gifts that I held inside already, but I just had to take this journey to find them. But yeah, I don't know why I mentioned the medicine part of it, but it's all part of my journey, so I suppose that's why. But yeah, so the Kundalini, that's why. So the Kundalini was the cleansing, the purging of my chakra system, you know, waking up until it hits the crown. And you know, that's your connection to spirit, so it works from your root all the way up, crown. That heaven and earth connection, so that's how I understand that the angels can work through me now, channel through me. And then after that, the dark night, that's why. So the hermit stage, deep silence and solitude, and more transformation and healing, you know, deeper introspection. The hermit is. The dark night, yeah, that takes you there, is the dark night. That's not to scare anybody, that's my experience. I can only speak of my dark night. But yeah, you're on your own. You are on your own. You're looking for these keys. You know, these keys above the door. You're looking for the keys to get out of that dark night. You really want to be out of the dark night. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dark Night of the Soul. Drop me a message if you are. If you know, you feel like you're in it, or you've heard of it, and yeah, you can resonate with it. But when it happened to me, yeah, I was looking for these keys to unlock that door, to, you know, to get me out of this dark night, because I just didn't want to be in it. But you're in it for a purpose, and it's to find yourself and to go into really deep introspection, healing. And it's going to take you there. It's going to take you into your trauma, your wounds, your past life, this life, what you've not healed in this lifetime. It's going to take you there. It's meant to take you there because it's got to uncover layers of yourself, you know, that you've forgotten also and need healing, to move on this yellow brick road and to find your strength, you know, and to find your love, you know, so for love for yourself, love for others, and your strength for yourself, and also more strength for others. I've always been a helper. I've always wanted to help people. It's just my nature. But because of the process I've had to go through, my spiritual awakening, twin flame, this journey gets very, very exhausting in parts. That strength, you know, that I had for others before this journey, I had to give that to myself, because I didn't have enough at that point to, you know, that saying, fill your cup, you can fill others. Didn't have enough in my cup with what I was going through on the dark night, especially the dark night of the soul, to fill others' cups at that point. I knew it was only temporary, but my dark night was probably about a year to a year and a half, maybe longer, a few years. But what, you know, I had to give that back to myself. So the giver and the caretaker in me had to love herself for the first time possibly ever. I had to give that energy back to myself and fill my own cup, and that's what I started doing, this transformation on the Yellow Brick Road. Taught me how to put up emotional boundaries also. Not to be harsh with people, but to put up emotional boundaries and say no when I needed to, which was very, very hard word for me to get used to. But yeah, this transformation on this Yellow Brick Road brought all that back to me. And yes, you know, so I'm down this Yellow Brick Road. I'm finding all this strength and this love for myself, this transformation. Sooner or later, I find my companions, I find my friends on this road, and we go forward together. You know, the chariot is going forward. So I've found the lion. I've only got the lion picture here, card here. And I found the Tin Man and I found the Scarecrow. And those friends want to come with me down this Yellow Brick Road because they feel like they're missing the heart, the brains, and their, what's the other one? The courage. They feel like they're missing those qualities of themselves. So Dorothy says, yes, come with me. And, you know, she probably got fed up of being on her own at this point. Yes, she had Toto, but she was glad to come across, you know, some other kind people like herself, and well, not people, but yeah, Scarecrow, Lion, and Tin Man, you know, companions like herself, and go on this journey with someone else, you know, because you do. I remember the first time finding, coming across another twin flame, and how I knew is because the experiences you have just mirror, you know, the different, everyone's path's different, but the certain words sort of, it's you speak the same language, is what I'm saying, so you understand. And yeah, when you come across people you can resonate with on this path, wow, makes it so much lighter for you, and it helps you carry on this journey also, you know, because there's times where you just don't want to carry on this journey. You just want to get back to normal life, like you had prior to it, what you thought was normal. But this journey is your new normal, you know. Once you wake up to this call, yeah, you're forever changed once you go on this fool's journey and you hear that call. Yeah, this is the new normal for you. You know, I knew from the very beginning, for that tower hitting me and waking me up, I knew that my life would be forever changed, and I was set upon this journey that I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have a clue where I was going. I just knew that I had to follow it because that call was too loud. And I knew that it was also leading me to somewhere so transformative and beautiful. But yeah, in the stages where you have to go through that transformation, that's hard, you know, it's hard work. It's painful, especially through twin flame. I can't speak for anybody other's spiritual awakening or twin flame, but for me, yeah, everyone's different, and this is my experiences and the truth, you know. So yeah, we go on this journey together. You start meeting friends, and it just makes it less lonely, you know, and you're stronger in the group, in the pack, you know. You've got each other's backs, and you can understand each other, and you can talk to people that get you, you know, about this journey. So yeah, that makes it more of an easier journey, you know. It does get easier. It's not all doom and gloom, and you know, but you do have those beginning parts where, yeah, and yeah, you do get lower energies, you know, on this, like doubt. You know, I doubted this journey a lot. Am I a twin flame? What? This can't be real. This is not normal. You know, what's happening to me? Am I going? Yeah, crazy. I did. I doubted it all. But you're supposed to doubt it. Yeah, that doubt's good, you know. But sooner or later you push through that doubt, you know. Again, it's that transformation. You're pushing through things all the time, you know. There's initiations on this path also, you know. Your angels, they'll send tests for you. As thingy as that sounds, it's to build you up, to make you so strong. They're getting ready. They're getting you ready for leadership, for talking about your journey, for helping others, guiding others. They're getting you ready for the biggest role of your life, let's say. They're preparing you for that. All this transformation is the preparation. All the lower energies, meaning from my family, friends, the disbelief, you know, because you can't expect your family and your friends to believe your journey, because they are not experiencing or seeing or feeling what you are feeling, you know, or experiencing. That goes for the light parts of this journey, and the dark parts of this journey. They're not going through your transformation, so you can't expect outsiders to understand that. You can't. It's your journey. So it's your journey for a reason. It's meant to, you know, it's your soul journey, your soul path. Everyone's is different. So yeah, so Dorothy found her companions. I'm going to get through this pretty quickly because my charge looks like it's going to go, so I might have to come back on again. So yeah, Dorothy found her companions, and they moved around this yellow brick road together. Pretty soon they're going through the dark woods together, you know. So yeah, dark woods, you know, pretty scary. It sounds scary, don't it? There's not so nice things in those dark woods, but they're together. They're stronger in a pack. They've got each other's back. They give each other that courage. They give each other that strength, that love. So they're moving on this path together through those dark woods. Then they come up to the poppy field, and you know, the Wicked Witch has been trying to stop them all along. You know, it's power, it's control. She's saying, I want those ruby slippers because I want to keep control of, you know, Munchkin Land and the Emerald City. She wants to, yeah, and she wants revenge for Dorothy's house landing on the other Wicked Witch, her sister. So yeah, not nice energy there from the Wicked Witch, is there? Let's be honest. That's quite a low energy, and she's trying to put obstacles every step of the way for Dorothy. So going through inner companions, pushing through these, so they're finding all those qualities inside themselves, what they're going to the wizard for, you know, that they're going through this journey to find that they have those qualities inside them already, but they don't know that yet. They have to do this journey, because how would you ever know what strength you've got inside of you if you don't face, you know, the dark parts of your journey? Well, you don't. So the in the poppy field, she's trying to put them to sleep, you know, with that sleeping potion. And then Glinda, the good witch, the light parts of this journey. So Glinda for me is my angels. Glinda for me is my spirit team, my ancestors. The ones that guide me, that are not seen, that are behind the scenes in the spiritual realms, you know, but I hear them. I'm also very much guided to pick like crystals, and guided, they guide me. That's the best as I can explain it. It's a knowing, and orchestrated, you know, my path is orchestrated by them. I do have free will, of course I have free will, but I also know I'm very much guided, and I'm very open to that now, and I just flow with it now, because I know I'm very protected also by them. So yeah, that was my Glinda, my good witch, the light parts of this journey. To know you've got that protection and that love from your angels and your spirit team and ancestors. Wow, it's a beautiful thing. And the more you open up to this transformation, the more you hear them, the more they come through you, the more the channel just flows, you know. There's no static anymore. And that's because you've done this transformation. Your chakras are cleansed. They can get through your system clearly, you know. They can come through clearly. And yeah, so the poppy field, so they wake up, they get to the Emerald City, but they're faced with another obstacle, that they can't get into the Emerald City. But she says, I've got the ruby slippers. Then they let her into the Emerald City. They got into the Emerald City, they get all spruced up, they finally get to see the Wizard of Oz, and then he says, you have to go back and defeat the Wicked Witch and take her broomstick. So they're like, really? We just come through the dark woods. I don't want to go back into the dark woods. And once you are out of the dark night of the soul, you don't want to go back into one of those. You don't. I personally think I have had one dark night of the soul and then gone back into it a tiny bit to uncover more parts of myself and heal more. Can't speak for others, but I personally feel like that happened to me. But now I know I'm definitely out of the dark night of the soul, because my whole knowing and just my authenticity and the realness and the love and the strength that I have inside of myself tells me that, you know, that transformation. I feel whole. I feel that I'm balanced in the divine masculine, divine feminine. Yeah, I feel whole, and that's why I'm speaking about my journey. Yeah, there was preparing me for a leadership role to speak about this journey all along, and I knew that. I said that from the beginning. I said to my partner, it's not about a candle, it's not just about candles, there's something more going on with me. And they didn't understand, and that's what I'm saying about people that can't understand your journey. It's not their journey. It's not for them to understand. It's for you to understand and push through those obstacles that family and friends put in the way, not meaning to, but they bring those doubts into you, you know, because you look to your family and friends for that reassurance and that validation. But what this journey does is brings you your own validation. I'm going to get my charger because my phone's going to go, and I'll be straight back on, and we'll continue on. I think it's part 4 of this journey, but we've gone right back to the beginning because I wanted to make it clear that when I speak about you know, the dark of this journey. It's low. It's just lower outside interferences, obstacles that are put in your path. You know, nothing other than that. You know that. Yeah, the wording probably was not right, let's say, but yeah, you can't please everybody, and I'm not meant to please everybody. Not meant to resonate with everybody also. Right, I'm going to go charge my phone, and I'll be back on soon.